Hello everyone, Ty here, the Leaving Cert now, just with a quick reaction and thoughts video on the Leaving Cert 2024 Computer Science paper. I'm just going to be going through each question briefly, giving my thoughts, what I thought of the paper, things like that. And what I can say off the bat is just what an amazing gift of a paper. I've just read through this paper because it just went up online a few hours ago, and I am so happy with it. And I hope those of you who sat the exam on Wednesday are equally as happy. But we'll go through it first. All right. So first of all, the written section. So short questions, 54 marks, answer 9 out of 12. And these were, I think, just a gift. I think these short questions were brilliant. Question one was logic gates, was very straightforward. If you knew logic gates, this would have been given so that's something I predicted in my video. And if you saw that, I mentioned logic gates, they came up. Question two was just interpreting a very straightforward piece of Python code, just using a while loop. Question three, then, we see it every year, some kind of number conversion. This year was to convert 121 to an 8-bit binary number. So for that, you're just writing out your 8-bit numbers and then just dividing them in, and then eventually you'll get out the answer. Question four, then, again, something we see every year is just a little bit of problem solving, which again was very straightforward once you put a bit of thought into it. Question five, another one of my predictions, we finally have got a question on the history of computing. Kind of with, I suppose, Turing machines as well, you just had to basically pick one of these milestones and I suppose give a brief synopsis of why it is important and what happened. Personally, for that year, I probably would have gone with either Turing machines or transistors. Probably would have been the easiest to answer on. But I mean, look, you could have gone with any one of them. Question six then on about software development, software testing for a social networking app. So unit test cases testing like a small piece of code. So that could be like testing the posting method, like making a post or posting a story, something like that, or the profile feature maybe. And then system testing, you're talking about testing really the app as a whole or a large section of the app. So that was also fine. Question seven then, kind of dealing with like society, and society and emerging trends, looking at like advantages and disadvantages of things that are now coming out developing in the world of computing. Question eight, and the difference between RAM and ROM. So RAM, you're talking about like anything you're using day to day. So that's like files, photos, videos, anything along those lines. And then ROM is more permanent data. So that's going to be like startup information, things like that. Question nine then, again, was interpreting a piece of Python code and to do with the leap year. Again, was fairly straightforward to do, I think. Question 10 was more software development, talking about universal design and the principles of it. And look, obviously, if you knew universal design, that would have been, again, a straightforward question. If you didn't know it, you could just skip it. Question 11 then was implementing an algorithm. And we actually saw algorithms in the short and long questions this year, which is, to my knowledge, did not happen before. And this one is an insert sort, as far as I can tell. Basically saying you to implement it and then saying what is meant by a general solution. And then question 12, again, going back to kind of computers in society, modern day technology, getting you to discuss the meaning of if you're not paying for the product, then you are the product. Just getting you to explain that. Now, look, there'll be any amount of answers to that question. I think once you give some kind of reasonable explanation, you'll get full marks there. At least you should do anyway. So yeah, overall short questions I thought were brilliant. Definitely very easy to get 9 there, if not a couple more, if you were confident and knew your stuff. But yeah, very happy there. Long questions obviously were a bit more difficult than the short questions, as is to be expected, but I still think that they were very good. Now, question 13. I said it, I put it out there. AI was going to be a long question, and I was right. I'm just happy about myself for that. So yeah, literally. First question, explain the term AI. Brilliant. And generative AI. Like if you studied AI in class, you probably did come across things like ChatGPT or they would have been mentioned. Like, so hopefully you're able to answer that. And outputs generative AI, again, very easy. Part B then talking about like image recognition and stuff like that. And literally how AI can benefit society. Yeah, that's pretty much kind of the same thing. Yes, giving you two scenarios and then saying whether machine learning can be used, can be implemented in those scenarios. So again, no right or wrong answer really. Like if you can give an answer and back yourself up, you should get full marks there either way. So, and then yeah, ways to reduce bias. Part C then again was kind of like another essay style question, like we saw the last time AI was a long question. And this time it was asking you for like why some people would support pausing AI training and why others wouldn't. So like you'll have some people who would worry about the risks of it, maybe posing a risk to their job, things along those lines. And then the ones who may not support it are obviously going to be the businesses and the people behind them who are profiting off these AI. So question 13, brilliant, love that. And question 14 then was kind of around, I suppose it was more like it was Python kind of software development, dealing with flowcharts, input variables for the first part there, then going into Python code, doing a bubble sort algorithm. I also predicted, and didn't think algorithms would be a long question. Again, given they appeared in a long question last year, but you know, but yeah, overall, algorithms can be quite complicated. It's very easy to get them confused. So I could see someone possibly struggling with that one, maybe. But yeah, again, as for bubble sorts, you're splitting them up, the list up into bubbles and then sorting each bubble individually. So you'd have like 50 and 70, and then probably 30 and 60 and 20 as like three separate bubbles, and then making way back. Time complexity comes up almost all the time with algorithms, making improvements. So yeah, like kind of standard enough question. It would depend on how comfortable you are with whether you answered that one or not. And then finally, question 15 was databases. Personally, I'm not a big lover of databases, but it seemed to be a fairly nice question if it's something you were familiar with. All kind of, again, like Stan explained, difference between a database and a record. Obviously, the database being the whole thing, a record would be like one line in this database. Again, going with primary keys, again, comes up all the time with algorithms, not with algorithms, with databases. And inconsistencies, again, naming data types, that was very straightforward. Matching IDs. Foreign key could have been difficult. I've not seen that one before. So there may have been a bit of confusion there. Relational databases again. Yeah, data errors. So yeah, question 15, that was probably on the more difficult side out of the three. Probably would have gone with the first two personally. But I think overall, section A and B was very doable. So if I move on to section C was also very, very nice, I have to say. And part A, especially, so part A, and again, I haven't done it, I've just looked through it kind of briefly, but it seems like it was very straightforward. And a very short piece of code, actually, only 7 lines long. And I'm noticing as well, we're seeing, I suppose if there's any fifth years watching, the random variable is becoming very popular in exams. We've seen it now this year and also last year as well. And we saw it 1 year previously as well. I'm not sure which year it was, but we've seen it quite a lot. But yeah, starting with printing for the first two parts, really. Finish doing a bit of conditionals, standard if statements for part 3, and checking if things were equal for parts 4 and 5, and then kind of the same again for part 6, just generalizing it a bit more, and then just counting then at the end. So yeah, part A I think was very straightforward, seemed very approachable, very doable. And then part B also seemed, again, very approachable. I've heard from some students that apparently if you were able to reuse a lot of code from part A and part B, which would obviously been very helpful. But yeah, just having a quick scan through it seems like there's nothing kind of hiding in the long grass, like trying to catch you out. It seemed like it was very, very doable, very approachable, give you some tests or some samples as well to help you along. So yeah, overall, I think it was a very good paper, very approachable, and hopefully students who have put the work in will have been happy with their result or with how they got on. So yeah, Leaving Cert 2024 hopefully off to a very good start. So yeah, if you have any thoughts or questions or anything we need to discuss, leave them in the comments. But yeah, thanks guys.